Oil catch cans for the new Bronco. What do they do and how to install one? Stay tuned. Mishimoto has just released their baffled oil catch can kits for the 2.3 and 2.7 engines in the new Ford Bronco. Now, we just happen to have a 2.7 in our Bronco and a Mishimoto catch can kit. So that's what we'll be doing today. But before we get into the install, let's go over why you need one. The 2.7 V6 engine in the new Ford Bronco, it's a powerhouse for its size. That combination of direct injection and turbocharging really makes this engine go. However, there is a downside. Turbocharging can create more blow-by than a non-turbo engine, creating more internal engine pressure. Now, Ford, in part, is going to combat this with the PCV, or Positive Crankcase Ventilation System. And that's going to reroute this pressurized air back through the intake manifold to be reburned in the engine. Unfortunately, that air coming out of the crankcase is not clean. It'll have atomized oil and other contaminants in it. And those contaminants are now traveling down through the intake system, coating everything in its path with an oily residue. Now, as it gets closer to the combustion chamber, that oily air will start to stick and build up deposits, and that's due to heat, especially around the intake valve, as that's where the heat is the highest, and those deposits can cause knocking, pre-ignition, loss of power, and loss of fuel economy. Now, there's a lot more to that, including a discussion of direct injection versus port fuel injection and how the 2.7 uses a hybrid system with both. But that's a deeper dive that we can go over some other time, well, if you're really interested. Now, the easiest way to help keep those buildups to a minimum is to use an oil catch can system. Now, these catch cans are plumbed into the PVC system, and it's between the crankcase and the intake manifold. And their job is to filter out those oily contaminants, to help keep that recirculated air cleaner. Now, of course, there is a large debate as to whether or not these catch can systems are worth the money. Well, we're going to install this one and then go put some miles on the Bronco and report back our findings and let you decide. This Mishimoto kit comes with a baffled catch can, a mounting bracket, the preformed hoses, and all the necessary hardware for you to install it. The catch can itself is machined out of 6061 aluminum that's then black anodized. Now, opening it up, you can see the filter and the baffle. The air is going to come into the top, flow down through that sintered filter and consolidate the contaminants, which are then blown into the baffle, and then they'll drip down into the catch can. In their testing, Mishimoto has seen 3 to 4 milliliters of oil in the catch can in just 1,000 miles. Now, that's almost a teaspoon of dirty oil that would normally be traveling through your intake system and back into the engine. So, let's get on with the fun part, and that's the install. It's super simple to do, and it'll only take a few minutes. Tools needed for this install is a 17mm wrench, a quarter drive socket, we've got an extension just in case, a 10mm socket, a 7mm socket, and a 2.5mm hex key. Now, our bracket's going to mount right up underneath these two studs, so we need to remove this nut and this zip tie and this little plastic nut. Let's start out by cutting this zip tie. We'll just spin off by hand. And then this is where our 10mm and our little extension will come in handy. And our bracket goes up into place. And you have a Mishimoto washer and a nylock. And the same for the other side. And we're going to take our little 2.5mm hex key and take the screws out of the top of the Mishimoto Catch Can. Now we'll take our catch can and it goes up under the bracket. Now we'll take our nipples and screw them in. And they're going to take a 17 mil wrench. Okay, this is our PVC tube here going from the engine into the intake. And you'll see these blue clips on the back side. And on one end is a little tab. So push that tab all the way forward. Now if we spin this one around, you can see that tab. So push that tab. And then wiggle and off she comes. And you can see oil down in there. And look how the oil has already discolored the plastic. So this catch can will definitely pick up something. Now we have our formed hoses, and you'll notice they're different. One has this long leg, and then we have one with a short leg right at the plastic 90. So we're going to take the long leg, and that's going to go on the engine side. I'm just going to push it down. You can snap that yellow tab in place. And we'll throw one of the hose clamps on and push the hose up into place. Now we're going to take our other one, and that goes on the intake side. Snap it down, push in our lock, add our clamp, and then the hose goes on. And then our 7 mil socket. All right, and then Mishimoto includes a zip tie with a Christmas tree clip on it. Then we can push that right up and through the bracket. And then cinch it up. Take a pair of flush cuts. And boom, installation done. So there you have it, a super simple install on the Mishimoto oil catch can system for the 2.7 V6 in the new Ford Bronco. Less than 10 minutes to install it. Now, as far as maintenance is concerned, Mishimoto recommends that you clean out the oil can every 3,000 miles and that you check the full system every 10,000 miles. Now, does the new Ford Bronco need an oil catch can? Well, we'll check it in 1,000 miles and let you know. So I guess the question is, what do you think? How much oil are we going to get in the first 1,000 miles? Hit that comment section down below and leave your guess. And while you're down there, hit that description box. You can find the link for the new Mishimoto oil catch can system for the 2.7 V6 Ford Bronco and get one on its way for your rig. Then hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, and we'll see you soon.